Forget the tape for a second, because that's not what's setting the internet on fire tonight. It's the name suddenly attached to it. The second that file allegedly began making the rounds through private group chats, nobody in the industry expected the headline to end with the name it did. Stick with me, because this is the kind of story that mysteriously disappears from interviews, vanishes from timelines, and gets buried behind closed PR doors before the sun even comes up. It's the sort of whisper that outruns every official statement. The kind of leak that doesn't just shake a relationship, it rattles a friendship too. And somebody incredibly close to the inner circle apparently decided this was the week the secret could no longer stay buried. So buckle up, because this isn't just another cheating rumor involving A$AP Rocky. It's something a whole lot messier than that. For years, Rihanna and A$AP Rocky haven't just been a couple. They've been a brand, a movement, practically a cultural institution built on $2 billion empires, 2 children, and one of the most photographed romances of this generation. Fenty on one side, rap royalty on the other, and somehow every Met Gala camera always finds them first. From the outside, they looked untouchable, unbreakable, the gold standard every younger celebrity couple quietly studies and somehow never manages to duplicate. Perfect, right? Not even close. Spectacularly wrong. Because beneath the polished smiles and carefully curated black and white photo dumps, something has allegedly been unraveling for months, and the people closest to them supposedly saw it happening all along. The warning signs didn't appear on a red carpet. They started showing up inside group chats. Stylists reportedly noticed a shift in energy. Assistants whispered about abruptly ended phone calls. Several producers around Rocky's studio circle claimed his attitude had changed, saying he seemed guarded, distracted, and unusually tense around his own team. And in this business, when someone suddenly guards their phone like classified evidence, the people around them usually know a storm is brewing. Then came the rumor, another tape. Yes, another one. At this point, the joke practically writes itself that he should delete his entire camera roll and start fresh. But here's the thing, the tape isn't even the part you should be paying attention to. Ignore the tape for a moment, because the real shock, the detail nobody in Rocky's seemed ready to manage, isn't who he was allegedly recorded with. It's the unexpected third name dragged into the conversation. A name that was supposed to be firmly on her side. A name that has spent years publicly presenting himself as a protector of her image. A confidant. A friend who repeatedly claimed, in his own words, that their souls were connected. Jason Lee. Yes, that Jason Lee, founder of Hollywood Unlocked, and the man Rihanna trusted enough to receive the very first photo of her newborn son. The same man who has openly declared on podcasts and stages that he shares a spiritual connection with Rihanna. A bond he says runs deeper than family, deeper than friendship, and beyond the limits of any ordinary industry relationship. That Jason Lee. And the second his name slipped into the same paragraph as the words alleged blackmail, the internet literally forgot how to breathe for a second. Now pause, because this is where the story stops acting like basic celebrity cheating gossip and starts feeling colder, more calculated, almost surgical. For years, Jason has positioned himself as the media figure Rihanna actually allowed behind the velvet rope. He wasn't begging for access. He wasn't trading favors for sound bites. He was the friend who learned things before the world did. He knew the baby was a boy before anyone else. He knew about private trips like always, allegedly always. He knew about late-night phone calls that had nothing to do with content and everything to do with real life. He bragged about karaoke nights. He bragged about quiet conversations away from cameras. He kept framing himself as the safe one in every room. So why is his name suddenly floating in the same sentence as a leaked tape and some behind-the-scenes squeeze play? That question is now setting the entire platform on fire. Sources circulating the story say the alleged tape involves Rocky and an unnamed creator from a subscription platform. Nothing about that is shocking anymore. What is shocking is the claim Jason may have known about the file long before anyone outside the inner circle did, or so the whispers suggest tonight, allegedly again. That he may have allegedly had it in his possession at some point, and somewhere between knowing it existed and the internet discovering it, a conversation allegedly took place that neither side wants to claim. Was it a warning to Rocky, leverage, or loyalty used wrong? Nobody says anything directly. Everyone only hints. Read closely because in this industry hints are almost confessions. Then came the Met Gala, a night meant for celebration that turned into replayed evidence online. Rihanna walked carpet, hadn't slept in a week. Not in a tabloid sense, but in a very real one. The kind of exhaustion that doesn't come from travel, but from carrying something heavy in silence while still smiling for the cameras. Cameras caught her brushing past Tyla without the usual warmth she shows younger artists, and the room felt it instantly. Within 48 hours, a blind item dropped that didn't even bother hiding behind hints. It claimed Rocky had arrived with another woman in his orbit, a model allegedly placed in a private condo across town, and that he even invited her out on the same night he stood beside Rihanna on the carpet. If that blind item is even close to true, that wasn't a mistake, that was a message. And Rihanna supposedly felt it before the night ended. But Jason's name circles back in, because blind items rarely appear randomly. They're usually fed by someone close and frustrated enough to leak details. After the drop, his name resurfaced with heavier accusations. The whisper suggested he didn't leak it directly, but may have held the information first, controlling when the public saw it. That's gatekeeping, not friendship, allegedly, maybe. At the end of it all, nothing is confirmed, but everything is being whispered at full volume. A tape that may or may not exist, a friend whose loyalty is now under a microscope, and a story that keeps shifting depending on who tells it first. Rihanna stays silent, Rocky moves carefully, and Jason's name sits in the middle of it all like a question nobody can fully answer yet. In this industry, silence is never empty, it's loaded. And right now, that silence is louder than any statement anyone could make. The real story is still unfolding behind closed doors tonight, and nobody knows what's next. In this world of access, gatekeeping becomes the most valuable currency anyone can possibly control today now. Let's slow this down and really look at what Jason has said about Rihanna over the years, because the receipts are doing half the work tonight. On record, Jason called her a soul tie, allegedly not a friend, not a sister figure, a soul tie. He has said their connection lives in moments the world never sees, allegedly in kitchens, in quiet rooms, in unposted karaoke nights, in conversations that have no cameras and no captions anywhere at all. Tonight he has spoken about her in language people usually reserve for the one person they can never quite fully classify at the end of it, and for years fans laughed it off as harmless, cute, even the gossip guy with soft spot for biggest pop star alive. Actually, though, but reread those words now, soul tie, a spiritual cord, a bond she did not ask the public to acknowledge, but one he has consistently insisted exists. In light of tonight whispers, that vocabulary hits differently now, because if you take the position that someone is your soul tie, and then you allegedly find yourself inside a story that could humiliate her, what is the right move now? Burn the file, bury it, hand it back to her quietly, and let her decide what to do with it, or do something else entirely, something that protects you instead of her, sources say. That is the exact question being argued behind the scenes right now, and neither can give an answer that lines up with next one, so let me give you the three theories the internet has split into as of tonight. Three camps, each one uglier than last. I tone the pure betrayal theory. This is the version where Jason allegedly came into possession of damaging material involving Rocky, sat on it, and used it as quiet leverage in conversations the public was never meant to see. In this version, the friendship was real once, but somewhere along the way it became transactional information, became currency, trust became a vault he learned how to crack open whenever timing benefited him. Allegedly, if this version is even partially accurate, it would mean the woman who let him into her most private moments was being watched the entire time by somebody she thought was watching her back. To the protector theory, this is the version where Jason allegedly stepped in front of the leak before it could fully break, controlled the rollout, and tried to soften the landing on Rihanna's behalf. Allegedly, in this telling, he isn't the villain, he's the firewall. He saw what was coming, knew it would crush her if it dropped the wrong way, and engineered the conversation, so the worst details got buried under the noise of speculation. If this version is real, then everything we are watching unfold right now is actually a coordinated cushion, allegedly a friend doing damage control in the only language the internet understands, which is louder rumors stacked on top of quieter truths. And this one is the wildest, the double game theory, the version where Jason allegedly knows far more than he has ever publicly admitted has known for years and has been quietly positioned between Rihanna and Rocky as unofficial referee figure allegedly to somebody both of them have leaned on at different points. Somebody both of them have shared things with that the other one was never supposed to hear. In this version, he is not on her side, nor his side. He is aligned on the story's side itself only. He is the keeper of receipts, and those receipts have allegedly been stacking up for a very long time now. Now read those three camps again, because depending on which one is closest to the truth, the public version of this entire relationship has to be rewritten from the foundation up. And here is what makes it even worse. None of the three camps require him to have done a single illegal thing. He doesn't have to leak. He doesn't have to extort. He just has to know and let people understand that he knows. In this business, knowing is the weapon. The leverage is implied. The pressure is built in. And the person at the center of it doesn't even have to lift a finger to be feared. Now, let's talk about the rumor most of you forgot, because it just snapped back into relevance tonight. Earlier this year, whispers started circulating about a Savage x Fenty Valentine's Day campaign that allegedly did not go the way the brand had planned. According to the rumor, Rihanna arrived for a shoot and was, according to anonymous accounts, not in a state to perform the way the team had blocked out. The story claimed alternative imagery had to be used in place of the originals, and that internal conversations were nervous, scrambled, and very quiet. None of it was ever confirmed. None of it was ever denied loud enough to make it go away either. And in the absence of a clear answer, the rumor mill did what it always does. It started connecting that whisper to every other whisper that had ever attached itself to her name. Super Bowl theories, Met Gala theories, old red carpet clips replayed in slow motion. Comments from people like Azealia Banks dragged back into circulation. The list stretches further than most people remember. And every time a new round of speculation drops, the same question shows up underneath it. Where is Rocky in all of this? Why has there been no firm public correction? Why does every supposed clean slate get followed within weeks by another rumor that drags the same story right back to the front of the timeline? Fans have been answering that question for years, mostly by pointing at him. Tonight, for the first time, the finger has shifted. It is pointing at the friend. Because here is the deeper question nobody wants to say out loud. If Jason has truly been as close to Rihanna as he has claimed for over a decade, then he would have seen the cost of the relationship long before any of us did. He would have seen the version of her that does not show up in interviews. The version that goes quiet between projects. The version that has had to manage public heartbreak with private composure more times than the public can count. And if he saw all of that and never once said anything to redirect her away from the storm, then the question becomes very simple. What was he getting out of staying quiet? Because staying quiet in this industry is never free. Silence in Hollywood always has a price tag attached to it. The only question is who is paying and who is collecting. And now look at what is happening on Rocky's side of the field. The man has been moving differently in public for weeks. Shorter answers, tighter interviews, less of the loose, playful energy he used to throw around without thinking about it. Insiders say his team has been on lockdown mode since the first rumblings of the alleged tape started moving. They have allegedly been making calls to platforms, contacting legal, and quietly trying to figure out how much exposure they are actually sitting on. Nobody close to him will say the word panic, but the energy reads like panic dressed up in designer clothes. And in the middle of that, Rihanna has gone almost entirely silent. No statement, no clapback, no coded Instagram story aimed at anyone. Just a kind of quiet that the internet has finally started to recognize as her signature move when something real is happening. She does not perform pain. She withholds it. She lets the noise spin without her. And she comes back when the dust settles to remind everyone whose name still moves the room. That silence has its own gravity, and right now it is pulling everything else in the story closer to her, not further from her. But there is one detail buried inside this entire situation that almost nobody is talking about. And it might be the most important piece of all. Several of the same accounts breaking the alleged tape rumor have in the last 72 hours started using a very specific phrase about Jason Lee. The phrase is, quote, he already knew, not he found out, not he heard, he already knew, past tense, settled, closed, as if his knowledge of whatever happened predates the story going public by a margin nobody is comfortable putting a number on. He already knew. He already knew. Sit with that line for a moment, because if that phrase is accurate, it means somebody in his orbit is telling on him in real time now. Somebody close enough to his operation to know what he was sitting on. Somebody who has decided the cost of staying quiet is no longer worth it anymore if it becomes visible. That single phrase is what has flipped this story from a typical cheating allegation into something darker and more complex. Because cheating rumors burn out, they always do. The internet feeds, then moves. But a story about a trusted friend allegedly sitting on damaging material involving the most protected woman in pop culture, that story does not burn out. That story compounds. That story spreads sideways into every old clip, every old quote, every old appearance, and every old narrative being replayed again, now heavily online. And every replay makes the original framing feel more uncomfortable than before now. Now, let's talk about who actually benefits from this story being out in the open right now, because every leak in this industry has a beneficiary. And once you find the beneficiary, you usually find the sour. Rocky gains no advantage. His public image keeps getting damaged hour after hour. Rihanna gains no benefit. The constant linking with allegations has already cost her years of quiet peace. Tyla gains no benefit. She got pulled into a Met Gala blind item that had nothing to do with her real career. And Jason, depending on which you trust, either benefits from being framed as the man who knew or gets publicly dragged into a story he was meant to stay hidden inside completely, allegedly tonight. Both outcomes can exist as true at the same time. That is the part that should make your stomach drop. Both outcomes can be true at the very same time still now. Meaning somebody outside the obvious three is moving all the chess pieces. Somebody who wanted this exact setup of names sitting on every timeline this week. Somebody with access to enough information to plant the alleged file, the alleged blind item, and the alleged friendship crisis inside the same news cycle. That is not random. That is not online chaos. This is a campaign. And whoever runs this campaign has been planning it longer than any of us have been paying attention here tonight. Now think about the timing once more again. The alleged tape rumor arrives the same week as the Jason Lee whisper. The Met Gala fallout remains still fresh enough that any drop attaches itself to her recent footage. The Savage X Fenty rumor from earlier in the year is suddenly being recirculated by accounts that had let it die months ago. Even old Azealia Banks clips are getting pulled out of archives and reposted with new captions. That is not coincidence. This is curation. Somebody is curating the return of every old rumor about Rihanna at the exact same moment the new rumor about Rocky and the new whisper about Jason hits the timeline. The pattern is too clean to be accidental. So here is where we land tonight. A tape that may or may not exist. A friend who may or may not have known about it initially. A blind item that may or may not be about a model in a borrowed condo. A shoot that may or may not have gone sideways months ago. A silence from Rihanna that is doing more talking than any statement could. And a man named Jason Lee sitting somewhere right now watching his name trend in a sentence he probably never expected to be in. And a man named Jason Lee sitting somewhere right now watching his name trend in a sentence he probably never expected to be in. None of this is confirmed. All of it is in air still. And in the world of celebrity gossip, air is usually the last stage before fire. Before you scroll, I need you to sit with one final thought. Because every long friendship in this industry eventually faces a moment exactly like this. A moment where loyalty either proves itself or quietly shows you it was something else the whole time. Most friendships in this orbit do not survive that test. The few that do are the ones where the friend chooses the person over the moment every single time, even when nobody is watching. Tonight, the internet is asking Weth.